On today's video, I'm going to show you how I run the numbers to decide whether I need to sell the rental property or I can keep it because it's producing enough and actually a very good cash flow. So whenever I'm asked from my clients whether they need to sell or keep as a rental property, I run these numbers for them. Sometimes they don't have all the numbers in front of them, so I can't run it for them, but I'll tell them how the math works pretty much. And today I'm just going to show it to you here on my iPad. I'll just run some numbers. And for the sakes of this video, I'm just going to come up with some numbers just so it's not too long, but pretty much you get an idea how to do it. I might be missing some stuff here. I'm not very going in details, but you can go into as much details as you need. I'll just pretty much show you the formula, how it works, so you can just bring a little bit of logic and numbers for your clients or for yourself if you're deciding what to do with the property. So let's say the price for the home is $350,000. There's still a mortgage for another $200,000, which means there's $150,000 of equity in the house. But it's not all the equity that we're going to get after the sale. So that's important. How much equity we're going to get after the sale. And that's going to be an equity we're going to be looking at and comparing that to the net cash flow. So now we're going to look at how much actually we can get for rent. I'm just assuming that we can get $2,500, probably a little bit more, whatever. I'm just trying to show you the math. And then all the expenses. So we're going to collect the rent, and then we're going to pay out the expenses, and what actually we're going to be keeping here as a net profit at the end of the month and at the end of the year. So actually also mortgage tax, insurance, maintenance, HOA, other stuff. Keep up everything you need to put in there and then see how much per month. So let's talk about selling. So let's say we actually decide to sell. So let's look at this scenario. So we're going to have $350,000. Let's say we put it on the market, we get the full price, minus closing cost, minus mortgage, which is $200,000. So how much is the closing cost? I'm not going to go into details again, but roughly I'm going to say it's 8% from the gross price. Let's just assume it's 8%. You're going to know how much it is. If you go a little bit deeper, just assume roughly it's 8%. So if we look at the numbers and we go into calculator and we pull in $350,000 multiplied by 8%, we get $28,000. So $28,000, $350 minus $28,000 will be $322,000. Minus 200 will put us at $122,000. That's how much we're going to net after the sale. So whenever we sell, we're going to get $122,000. Now let's look at rent. Let's look, if we decided to rent the property, how much a year we're going to get. So this is how much we're going to get is $2,500 minus $200. So that puts us at $500 per month multiplied by 12 is $6,000 per year. This is the numbers that you need to pay attention to. These are the numbers. They're the most important numbers for you to decide now. Now, what's better? To sell and get $122,000 or to rent, keep renting and get $6,000 every single year. So now, in order to do that, what I would do and what I would take, too large, so let's make it a little smaller. So I'll take $6,000 and I would divide by $122,000. And how much equity would I get? So if I 6 divided by 122, I would get 4.9%. This is not good in my opinion. If I get 8%, let's say, how about if we just get rid of all this? Let's say this is rent. I put too low of the rent. Let's say I put too low of the rent. So actually we can make, let me erase this a little bit, and I'll erase this. So actually, let's say we can get $2,800. So we'll get $800 a month. So we'll be getting $800 a month. So at the end of the year, we'll be collecting $9,600 a year. So now we divide 9,600 by 122,000, and we're going to get, divide by $122,000, we're going to get 7.8% return on the equity. What we're doing here, and this is gonna change your mind a little bit here. We're comparing how much we can collect every year versus if we were to keep the property. 7.8%. You know, if I sell the property and take 122,000 and invest it somewhere else, I could probably get more. So if I'm like shopping around and seeing that I can get more money somewhere else, will make sense for me to sell. Now, you probably are thinking this. When I bought the property, I put in $25,000 because I got some sort of a loan that I was able to put $25,000. Actually, I'm just looking that I only put in $25,000. Why are you looking at $122,000? This doesn't make sense. But you actually have $122,000, which you can relocate to a different property or whatever type of investment. We're not talking about $25,000. It doesn't mean that really I only put in $25,000. It doesn't really cost me as much because it's not as much money for me. For example, I'm not sure who, you know, what kind of money are you talking about, but I'm just saying sometimes I hear that from clients. It only cost me $25,000. I only put in $25,000. I don't care about the 122. Whatever is there is there. It's not, you know, I don't want to move it. But in order for you to grow, this is actually the money you're talking about. You're talking about $122,000 here, which you can move and start doubling it maybe. And now you also want to look at one more thing. That $122,000. Let's say I'm gonna change something here. I'm gonna change, let's say, $350,000 is the price of the home. Every year, the price, let's say, goes up 3% compound. So it's gonna go every year 3% on this price, and then 3% on the 3% of the price, and then on and on. And that is going to be the equity that you collect. That's why holding on to the property is actually creating a lot of millionaires. A lot of millionaires are created by holding the property. It's not 3% off the 122. It's 3% of 350 because the bank is not taking any equity. Bank is not asking for no appreciation. Bank is typically only asking for the interest on their loan, and that's it. If whatever loans you're getting out there, as far as I know, most of them just only want interest. They never tap into any appreciation. So all the appreciation is on a 350, and that goes into your bottom line. So 3% of 350 is roughly, let me see, because I'm not really okay doing any math right now. So that's going to be $10,500. So every year you're making extra $10,500 just by holding on to the property. And that is here, that adds on to the price of the house, but that becomes your bottom line because nobody else is going to ask for that bottom line. It's your money. So, you know, it's really, unless your cash flow versus equity is super low, that is actually better to sell and move the property over to something else. Other than that, I would just hold on to the property. If you know, if you're making over 8%, let's say, or somewhere close to 8%, I'll just hold on to the property. And that's what I would suggest my clients. That's what I would decide for myself. And obviously, if you're a real estate agent and you're talking to your clients, there's a lot of other things that go into play. There's a lot of other things that you need to pay attention to. There's people's lives, there's family situations, There's a lot of things that maybe need to be done in order to sell for 350. Maybe you need to do a lot of painting and fixing and everything else. You have to look at things deeper, but this is basically the math. You just compare two scenarios and what's better in a percentage, proportion. And, that's how I would do it.